Good afternoon, my friends. My name is Melissa from Melissa's Struggling Walk with Jesus. I am using the Amplified Holy Bible and the Navigator's Bible reading plan to share the Word of God with you. And this is Tuesday, November 4th, about 1:06 in the afternoon. And in this video, I will be sharing the book of Ruth, chapters 2 and 3. Chapter 2 starts out where Ruth gleans in Boaz's field, and it says, "Now Naomi had a relative of her husband, a man of great wealth and influence, from the family of Elimelech, whose name was Boaz. And Ruth the Moabitess said to Naomi, 'Please let me go to the field and glean among the ears of grain after one of the reapers, in whose sight I may find favor.' Naomi said to her, 'Go, my daughter.'" In verse 2 where it says glean, gleaning was a right granted to the poor and to the strangers by God, a kind of divinely appointed welfare system. Farmers were instructed not to glean their fields or vineyards, that is, not to collect the excess stalks of grain or grapes left over by reapers, and not to have the extremities of their fields reaped. Check out Leviticus chapter 19, verses 9 and 10. All right, verse 3. "So Ruth went and picked up the leftover grain in a field after the reapers, and she happened to stop at the plot of land belonging to Boaz, who was of the family of Elimelech. It was then that Boaz came back from Bethlehem and said to the reapers, 'The Lord be with you.' And they answered him, 'The Lord bless you.' Then Boaz said to his servant who was in charge of the reapers, 'Whose young woman is this?' The servant in charge of the reapers answered, 'She is the young Moabite woman who came back with Naomi from the country of Moab.' And she said, 'Please let me glean and gather after the reapers among the sheaves.' So she came and has continued gathering grain from early morning until now, except when she sat resting for a little while in the field house." In verse 7 where it says sheaves, for example, these are bundles of stalks bound together for transport to the threshing floor where the grain would be separated. All right, verse 8. Then Boaz said to Ruth, "Listen carefully, my daughter. Do not go to glean in another field or leave this one, but stay here close by my maids. Watch which field they reap and follow behind them. I have commanded the servants not to touch you. And when you are thirsty, excuse me, go to the water jars and drink from what the servants draw." And then she kneeled face downward, bowing to the ground, and said to him, "Why have I found favor in your eyes that you should notice me, when I am a foreigner?" Boaz answered her, "I have been made fully aware of everything that you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband, and how you have left your father and mother and the land of your birth, and have come to a people that you did not know before. May the Lord repay you for your kindness, and may your reward be full from the Lord, the God of Israel. Under his wings you have come to take refuge." And then she said, "Let me find favor in your sight, my Lord, for you have comforted me and have spoken kindly to your maidservant, though I am not as one of your maidservants." At mealtime Boaz said to her, "Come over here and eat some bread and dip your bread in the vinegar." So she sat beside the reapers, and he served her roasted grain, and she ate until she was satisfied, and she had some left for Naomi. And when she got up to glean, Boaz gathered his servants, "Let her glean even among the sheaves, and do not insult her. Also you shall purposely pull out for her some stalks of grain from the sheaves, and leave them so that she may collect them, and do not rebuke her." Verse 17. So she gleaned in the field until evening. Then she beat out what she had gleaned, and it was about an ephah of barley. Where it says ephah in verse 17, this was about 1 bushel, enough food for several days. All right, verse 19, or verse 18. She picked it up and went into the city, and her mother-in-law saw what she had gleaned. Ruth also took out and gave to Naomi what she had saved after she had eaten and was satisfied. Her mother-in-law said to her, "Where did you glean today? Where did you work? Blessed be the man who took notice of you." So she told her mother-in-law with whom she had worked and said, "The name of the man with whom I work today is Boaz." Verse 20. Now Naomi said to her daughter-in-law, "May he be blessed of the Lord, who has not ceased his kindness to the living and to the dead." Again Naomi said to her, "The man is one of our closest relatives, one who has the right to redeem us." In verse 20 where it says redeem, check out Leviticus chapter 25 verse 25, and where it says redeem in verse 20. So according to Old Testament law in Leviticus chapter 25 verse 25, if an Israelite became so impoverished that he sold his property, his closest relative was to buy it back, so that the land would remain within the family. Such a person was called a redeemer. Another law stated that if a married man died childless, his brother was obligated to marry his widow and raise a son in the deceased brother's name, so that the name would be carried on in Israel. Check out Deuteronomy chapter 25 verse 5 through 10 and Genesis chapter 38 verses 8 through 10. So being aware of these laws and their applications by the scholars of that time, Naomi conceived of a plan, check out chapter 3 verses 1 through 4, that might bring Ruth and Boaz together by having Boaz serve as a redeemer, both to purchase a field that Naomi owned and to fulfill the obligation of Deuteronomy chapter 25 verse 5 by marrying Ruth. All right, so verse 21. Then Ruth the Moabitess said, "He also said to me, 'Stay close to my servants until they have harvested my entire crop.'" Now Naomi said to Ruth, "It is good, my daughter, for you to go out to work with his maids, so that others do not assault you in another field." So she stayed close to the maids of Boaz, gleaning until the end of the barley and wheat harvest, and she lived with her mother-in-law. Excuse me. All right, so Ruth chapter 3, this is where Boaz will redeem Ruth, and it says, "Then Naomi, her mother-in-law, said to Ruth, 'My daughter, shall I not look for security and a home for you, so that it may be well with you?'" In verse 3 where it says security, other Bible literature says rest. Verse 2, "Now Boaz, with whose maids you were working, is he not a relative? See now, he is winnowing barley at the threshing floor tonight. So wash and anoint yourself with olive oil. Then put on your best clothes and go down to the threshing floor, but stay out of the man's sight until he has finished eating and drinking." All right, in verse 3 where it says best, one rabbi said that these were special garments for the Sabbath. And in verse 3 where it says but, other Bible literature says, "Do not reveal yourself to the man." All right, verse 4, "And when he lies down, notice the place where he is lying, and go and uncover his feet and lie down. Then he will tell you what to do." In verse 4 where it says go, by her action Ruth was expressing her desire and willingness to marry Boaz. Verse 5, Ruth answered her, "I will do everything that you say." So she went down to the threshing floor and did just as her mother-in-law had told her. And when Boaz had eaten and drunk and his heart was happy, he went to lie down at the end of the stack of grain. Then Ruth came secretly and uncovered his feet and lay down. In the middle of the night the man was startled, and he turned over and found a woman lying at his feet. So he said, "Who are you?" And she answered, "I am Ruth your maid. Spread the hem of your garment over me, for you are a close relative and redeemer." Then he said, "May you be blessed by the Lord, my daughter. You have made your last kindness better than the first, for you have not gone after young men, whether poor or rich. Now, my daughter, do not be afraid. I will do for you whatever you ask, since all my people in the city know that you are a woman of excellence. It is true that I am your close relative and redeemer. However, there is a relative closer to you than I. Spend the night here, and in the morning, if he will redeem you, fine, let him do it. But if he does not wish to redeem you, then, as the Lord lives, I will redeem you. Lie down until the morning." Verse 14. So she lay at his feet until the morning, but got up before anyone could recognize her. Another. Boaz said, "Do not let it be known that the woman came to the threshing floor last night." In verse 14, where it says "do not," the wording suggests that this was a command Boaz gave to others who were near him on the threshing floor. All right, verse 15. He also said, "Give me the shawl you are wearing and hold it out." So Ruth held it, and he measured out 6 measures of barley into it and placed it on her, and she went into the city. And when she came home, her mother-in-law said, "How did it go, my daughter?" And Ruth told her everything that the man had done for her. She said, "He gave me these 6 measures of barley, and he said to me, 'Do not go back to your mother-in-law empty-handed.'" Then Naomi said, "Sit and wait, my daughter, until you learn how this matter turns out, for the man will not rest until he has settled it today."